Okay, guys and gals, this is it. For the first time in a long time, the Orichalcos deck. Um, it's been through a lot of changes since the last iteration, quite a lot. MCool40 and I have actually been talking about some things we want to do with our own decks, as well as kind of pool our ideas together to make other things possible. So, it's very similar to MCool40's build, but I have some stuff that he doesn't, and he has some stuff that I don't. I kind of wanted to branch off and do my own thing. It kind of builds off of some of his ideas, but it's my own take on it, per se, because we don't have all the same like souls and stuff as you'll see in some of these cards you're about to see. So, Orichalcos Challenge has gone through a lot of changes. This isn't the version I've been using in like all the previous videos that you've seen. This is actually going to be the definitive version of the deck moving forward. There were some pretty busted ass cards in here, not gonna lie. And all the banned cards have also since been removed. So, with that, we're going to get into Extra Deck. I'm going to explain some of my card choices and why certain things are at certain numbers. So, first off, we got Orichalcos Cutora. Only one. More than one is too broken, because it's a one-card OTK. Because you can just pay 500, drop this on the field, ram it into your opponent's monster, and then it gets destroyed, which summons Shuneros, and then you ram Shuneros, which gets destroyed, and then you summon Serpent, and then Serpent says, I swing for infinity and win. So, one Cutora. And by the way, people are saying I can't normal summon Cutora. Where does it say I can't normal summon that? Anyway, so yeah, some of the effects have to have liberties taken with them, just for the sake of consistency. Like, I know, like, I'll explain when I get to other cards. But one Cutora, so I can pay 500 to special it. While it's on the field, all battle damage I take becomes 0. And then when it's destroyed, you get the Orichalcos Shuneros. And Orichalcos Shuneros says, my attack is equal to whatever this thing absorbed. And when Shuneros comes out, you also get your Dexia and Aristeros. Dexia and Aristeros are kind of irrelevant, because most of the time, if they don't have a response to your Cutora, you're just ramming in with Shuneros to summon the Serpent and then swing for infinite damage. But Dexia and Aristeros can be helpful in those grind games where you just need to get over stuff. Like Dexia is always 300 attack higher than the attack of the defensive monster it's battling, and then Aristeros is always 300 more defense than the attack of the monster that tries to attack it. So with Seal of Orichalcos out, you hide him in the back row, have these guys up front taking all the attacks and dishing out attacks. And then when Shuneros gets destroyed, the arms go with him. Or yeah, if Shuneros isn't on the field, the arms always self-destruct. But then we get the Divine Serpent itself. The Divine Serpent says... Oh, also another thing I should mention with Shuneros. Somewhere there's like... Some version of this card I've seen have like... You have to pay 10,000 or more life points before you can summon Serpent. That's not on this version of the card, so I'm not playing by that. Also, it kind of ruins a lot of the consistency of the deck. So, and also these all come from hand, deck, and graveyard. So, I kind of had to add those in just because otherwise we're not getting anywhere with this engine. So the Serpent has infinite attack and defense. When it's summoned, I have to discard my entire hand, and my life points become 0. However, as long as it's on the field, I am immune to win conditions, and I just, most of the time, it's just discard hand, swing for infinite, and win. So, you can see why there's only one Cutora in here now, because it just leads up to all this in one go if they don't have a response to it. Another thing that people have been neglecting, there is a cost for the Serpent to attack. You actually have to be able to mill 10 cards off your deck in order to attack with it. That's something a lot of people notice are actually missing, or they forget to do that. But yeah, you actually can't attack with this thing if you have less than 10 cards in your deck. So it's like, I guess late game it does nothing but sit there. So yeah. Then we move on to just the regular stuff. We got Gygas here. I refuse to play Malevolence. Malevolence is a freaking terrible card. It is canon, yes, but it's just such a bad card that's not even worth it. Gygas itself is actually kind of bad now. It used to be good, and then a lot of stuff and then Yu-Gi-Oh got a little bit more broken, so Gygas isn't so good no more. He usually ends up being normal summon Link for Berserker, or discard with some other effect. He usually ends up getting discarded or linked out, so that's Gygas. Not really as powerful as he used to be. Okay, Dark Gadget Engine. Dark Red searches for yellow and can't be selected as an attack target while another dark monster's on the field. Yellow searches for green. Also, yellow is probably the best one because he gives all your dark monsters a 400 attack and defense buff. With the Seal of Orichalcos and this, most of the monsters in this deck get a 900 attack buff, so that's pretty good. Then we've got Dark Green, which is just for red, and also gives all dark monsters on your side of the field defense piercing. So that's the original Dark Gadgets that Uncle40 runs in his build. Another thing we've been working on, and I'm using in my deck right away. I actually tried making designing these for Uncle40, but I'm pretty sure he's using them right now. But we have Dark Silver Gadget and Dark Gold Gadget. Functionally the same, except they also support the Orichalcos archetype. Basically, you can summon a Dark Gadget from hand or a level 4 Orichalcos from hand. Like I said, they also have an extra effect when they're destroyed. They don't just summon another monster out of the deck. They actually have an additional effect. But I'll leave that up for you to see later in a dual video when I can get this done. So yeah, Dark Gold and Dark Silver are in the deck now. Then we have Dark Pink and Dark Purple. These used to be part of a set of cards called the Sealed series. They have since been removed from the series due to new self-imposed conditions we put on that series. So, Dark Pink and Dark Purple. Pink cannot be destroyed by effects, and Purple cannot be destroyed by battle. And then they're just extra targets for other gadget cards, which is pretty helpful. Orichalcos Zephyrmon, this was gifted to me by Uncle40. I can tell it's an unused prototype because of its effect is kind of weird. But when it's summoned, you put a counter on it. If it's popped while it has the counter, you get to search an Orichalcos card, and then once per duel while it's on the field, you can pay 1,000 life points to add a gadget from deck to hand. I'm whoop-de-frickin-do. I mean, thanks Uncle40. But a lot of the times this card's irrelevant. I basically only run this because he sent this to me as a gift, so it's there. Now for some of my stuff. We have Orichalcos Rescue Rabbit. It's just Rescue Rabbit with Orichalcos in his name. I was thinking of changing this to be like the original Gadget Seal Series card where you can summon Soldier 1 and Soldier 2 from hand, deck, or graveyard. But for right now, I'm not really sure how I want to work that in. So right now we're just doing it like the normal way we used to. With just 2 Orichalcos Soldier 1s, literally same effect as Rescue Rabbit, except it has Orichalcos in the name. Free rank 4s. Alright, now we've got, because every special challenge deck has to have yourself in it. This is Callan Florentine. I'm a light warrior level 4 with 2,000 defense, 1,700 attack. When it's summoned, I can add the Seal of Orichalcos or a Rescue Rabbit monster from my deck to my hand. So I search the rabbit, and then its other effect is I contribute this card off to get an additional normal summon of a level 4 or lower monster in my hand. So usually the Rescue Rabbit I just searched. And its effect and the effect of the monster I normal summon with this effect and this card's effects cannot be negated by the effects of other monster effects. And then you can only use each effect of Callan Florentine once per turn. So that's me as a card for the Orichalcos. Now we got something a little weird. This is Chicken Man. Chicken Man is kind of an alternate boss monster. He's kind of my trump card. No one's really seen him yet. I just made this card. We're going to see how he does, but he seems pretty lackluster. See, the reason behind this card is MCole40 made a card called Chicken because he actually had a card in his deck that required him to eat chicken. So he just made a card that lets him pay the cost for it out of his extra deck. I was running Chicken, and I didn't have anything in my deck that required me to eat chicken, which didn't feel right to me. So basically how Chicken Man works is he cannot be normal summoned or set. I have to eat 2 or more pieces of chicken in order to special summon it from my hand. Or, just send 2 of the chicken card from the extra deck to the graveyard. And then during the battle phase, quick effect, I can target a chicken card in my graveyard and special summon it, ignoring its conditions. And if I do, it gains the effect where if it battles my opponent's monster, destroy both it and the chicken card before the damage step. And then other than that, Chicken Man's just a 3,000 beater. So, Chicken Man, we're going to see how this guy does. But I like the idea of having to have that sounds really weird, but needing a card that requires me to eat chicken in order to run the chicken card itself. So we got Chicken Man. Seal Series monsters. This is Orichalcos Kabutops. Special summon with a sealed spell. How the Seal Series used to work is that they were summoned as tokens, which was a little too broken, so we incorporated them as monsters in the main deck. So, all the Seal Series monsters are also treated as normal monsters, and then they're all destroyed if they have no field spell. And another condition we put on Seal Series monsters is that under normal circumstances, you can only have one monster of the Seal Series on the field at a time. So they're basically malefics. And then they all have additional effects in basically they all have that's all their main effects, and then each one has their own effects. So and almost all of them float into a sealed spell except the really strong ones, because they don't need to be strong and float. So basically once per turn you can discard a card to destroy a card. I don't know if that targets. I'm going to say it does. When this card destroys a monster by battle, remove it from play. And then when this card is destroyed, you can discard a card to add a sealed spell from deck to hand. And then we'll get into the sealed spells once we get into the spells. So that's Kabutops. And then we have one of my Sealed Series cards. This is Orichalcos Freya, Black Hole Force. So it has all the Sealed Series monster clauses, and then when it's summoned, she cannot attack directly. And then when she is summoned, I get to select one of my opponent's main monster zones, regardless or not if it has a monster in it. And then while she's on the field, anything in that main monster zone gets instantly banished, even whatever's in it already. And then when she is destroyed by battle or effect and sent to the graveyard, she can immediately banish herself from the graveyard to add another sealed spell from deck to hand. So it's Freya, the Gardevoir, Black Hole Force. She literally makes a black hole on your opponent's field. Last monster in the main deck, we got the Mirror Knights. The Mirror Knights have been errated I just can't use them as link material. I can't use it or the tokens as link materials for a link summon, because this card's a 1-card. This is a 1-card Boral Sword. Seriously. And because I used to be running Link Karibo and Link Spider just to take advantage of this. Is if I can't kill you with my Mirror Knight tokens, I'm just going to Boral Sword OTK. It's nah, we want to kind of the Mirror Knight token should be more special than that. So MCole40 and I were talking about this. We've imposed the errata that Mirror Knights and their tokens cannot be used for link summons. Also, as you know, all these got a sealed soul behind them, and they copy the attack of the monster they're battling when they have their shields, and then when they destroy their shields, they flip over, revealing the soul, and they only copy attack when they have a shield. So that's the Mirror Knights. And they can also replace, and while this is on the field, they also replace their shields once per main phase. So that's really nice. So you basically go battle phase, swing, kill all your opponent's monsters. These get all flipped over, and then you can activate this guy's effect in main phase 2 to reset all their shields. It's really cool. Spell cards. The card that started it all, the Seal of Orichalcos. Yes, I know there's a real version of this. It's freaking garbage. Don't ever play it. This is a proxy of the Upper Deck Entertainment one. The biggest thing about this card is that it's a spell speed 4 negator that can stop literally anything that can be responded to. Because some people I've had some people tell me, like, you can only stop cards on the field. The effect says, if I can get this to focus, the effect says, send this card from your hand to the graveyard to negate and destroy any card. It's vague, so I'm going to treat it as you can stop anything. Like, seriously. Because this deck really, with how old this deck is, it really needs all the help it can get. Like, I mean, come on. Like, I know we've dumbed this down quite a bit since what it used to be, but, like, I want it to be, like, in its own realm of power where it can, like, still compete. But it's kind of hard to find a balance. But basically, it's a spell speed 4 effect, quick effect that can stop literally anything that can trigger any kind of response. Summon, attack, effect, activation. If it can be responded to, this can stop it essentially. And then, as it's also, while it's on the field, it can't leave the field by anything. It's unaffected by everything, and then gives all my monsters 500 attack. Gives my back row the ability to also contain monster cards, and they cannot be selected as an attack target while my front row has monsters in it. And I can only claim a soul once this is active. So yeah, that's the seal. Orichalcos, Deuteros, literally the other, and Tritos, literally the other layers are bricks. Like, they're not even that great. This one comes in handy more than this one does, believe it or not now. This one gives me 500 life. These all automatically have the effects of the previous layer. And then they each have effects of their own that stack up. So Deuteros gives me 500 life points for each monster on my side of the field once a turn. Tritos makes all of my monsters unaffected by spells and traps, so it takes a lot of work to get to Tritos. So it's almost just... Tritos ends up getting discarded a lot. And then, like, it's like, why aren't you playing, like, all the way up to 7 layers of the seal? Dude, freaking 3 layers is already bricky. Like, seriously. And, like, you can't activate more than one of these as a field spell per turn. So, when you go Seal, you can't immediately go Deuteros and then Tritos. You actually have to wait 1 turn for each. So, like, I've seen people try as like, oh, you can overlay all 7, 8, 9, freaking 10 layers of the Seal, like, in 1 turn. You actually can't do that. It's like, I'm sorry, I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack from one of my friends for that. Because he literally made, like, 20 layers of the seal. And I'm like, dude, why? That's, like, half of your deck is just bricky field spells. We got, like, freaking Orichalcos Dodecatritos or some crazy shit like that he's at right now. Alright. Chosen Destiny. No Orichalcos. Well, not yet, anyway. Chosen Destiny, pay 1,000 to add an Orichalcos named card from deck to hand. It also has another effect that never comes up, but you can also pop any Orichalcos card on the field, ignoring its conditions. Which, hey, you can blow up your own seal and save your soul. So, that's a thing. Rather just blow up Qtora and win the game. Orichalcos Mirror is the ritual spell for Mirror Knight Calling. Also, ritual summons only from deck, by the way. And then, you know, level 6. Tribute 6 or more stars. And then... But if I draw the ritual monster, it's also a brick. So, this deck has a buttload of bricks. Like, seriously. Like, it's good when it gets a good hand, but, like, a lot of the time you draw bricks. So, That's kind of the downside we've added to this deck, is that you have like 50 freaking bricks in this deck. Gadget Revelation. This used to be a Sealed Series card until we changed it to a regular card. It just special summons. It does the same thing as it did. It just summons dark pink and dark purple out of the hand, deck, or graveyard. So, Gadget Revelation. We had to change, obviously, because the rule, we can only have one Sealed Series monster on the field. This one originally summoned 2 Sealed Series monsters. We can't have that anymore, so we just changed it to a regular spell and regular monsters. Okay, Sealed Series. Special summons the appropriate monster out of hand, deck, or graveyard. I'm only running 2 of these. And obviously, Orichalcos Kabutops, Orichalcos Freya, Black Hole Force. I'm only running 2 of these in the main deck. There are more in the side deck, which we will get to soon. Now, these next few cards are like are from the anime, to try to give the deck more of an anime feel, because I know it's a lot of custom content. It used to just be like Orichalcos cards and anime cards, but like with the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Has gone, you have to evolve with the times. Like, even we can't be playing them Illusion Gates and Cards Demise and all that good stuff. I mean, like, anime demise. So right now we got Command Silencer. It's negate attack plus draw card, and the battle phase, but as a quick spell. I feel this is okay. It's more of a defensive draw that you can't use right away because you're using it on your opponent's turn. By the way, all major draw power from the deck has been removed. Nibelung's Treasure, Anime Demise, gone. Why? Because with another card in this deck and a lot of draw power, you can make like really busted boards, and then when you have this other certain card in your hand, FTK start to happen. And like, that's not fun for anybody when you just FTK them. Like it's supposed to be a hard to beat deck, but not an impossible to beat deck, is what I'm trying to get at. Mystical Guillotine. I basically get to blow up any monster on the field. Also, this card cannot be negated. So that's pretty nice. You can still chain to it with stuff, but like, usually it's just smashing ground for anything that you can't negate. So that's pretty cool. Mystic Guillotines and as a one-of. This is the card that causes FTKs when you get it and a big draw card. Mischief of the Time Goddess. Skip directly to your next battle phase in the future. This card gives you 2 battle phases and 2 main phase 2s. You can use once per turn effects twice. You get 2 battle phases. Enough said. I'm actually thinking of cutting this, but I've decided that we should have like some broken cards in the deck, but like not to the point of like FTKing stuff. Like this can really throw, like, without the draw power, this is still a really busted card, but I still have to hard draw it. It's not searchable, and it can't really FTK with a lot of the other draw cards, so, which are now gone. So we got one Mischief of the Time Goddess, anime effect, by the way, so it's generic. It's not Valkyrie exclusive. Trap lineup is the exact same as Robbie Cole's. Warning, Torrential, Prophecy, Cross Art. Prophecy is like another warning, except it's only for inherents and normal summons, and then I get that monster to my hand if I guess its attack right. Cross Art is a pretty good card. When my opponent's monster does battle damage, flip this up, take permanent control of the monster that just damaged me. Very strong card. And that's it for the main deck. We got a 40 card main deck here. Let's take out the seal, just put it up there for... Nah. I was trying to do something, and then I'm like, no. So first up, we got your UDS Silver Orichalcos Field Center. Very nice. I actually got this for like half of what it's worth, which is pretty interesting. Like, I got a really good deal for this thing. So we're just going to set it over there. Alright, extra deck. Kirito Sword Art Online. This card is broken. You can summon it out of the extra deck by discarding Shuneros, Dexia, or Risteros. On summon, it draws you a card. And then you link it out for Berserker. And pretty much enough said. This card was probably a mistake, but it's a mistake we're going to live with. This was also another card gifted to me by Uncle 40, so I am honor bound to run it. Then we have Orichalcos Sealed Utopia, number 39 Utopia, and number S39 Utopia the Lightning. You never make Lightning. He's there if I need it, because we can make Utopia. But you usually just banish this out of the extra deck to make Orichalcos Sealed Utopia. That's really all it is. I mean, I have Lightning as like an extra spot in the extra deck, so I might as well put it there. 3 chickens. Chicken is tasty. When the cost of a card that requires you to eat chicken is applied, Chicken Man, you send this card from your extra deck to the graveyard to pay the cost. If you're not using this as a cost to eat chicken, when your opponent attacks you directly, you can just drop it out of your extra deck. Becomes a free blocker. So that was the trade-off for Chicken Man, is like instead of having 3 blockers, I get a big monster and 1 blocker later, was like the trade-off I was going for there. Because 3 chicken to block... Use this really to block big OTK boards if you have nothing else, which was kind of needed, honestly. Incubator. Incubator says burn can't play for the turn. So when I would take effect damage, this card gets special summoned from the extra deck, the damage becomes 0, and for the rest of this turn I take no burn damage. And when this card is summoned by its own effect, add Orichalcos card from deck to hand. We played 2 Orichalcos Dragon. Yes, he's really busted, but I can make multiples of this. So we run it in multiples. Only 2, though. Because he's a rank 4 with 3,000 attack that can still attack. Which is pretty nutty. And, like... Yeah. Once per turn, detach 1. Search an Orichalcos card out of deck or graveyard. Pretty good. I don't know who designed this, but you could have at least given it less attack. Because he's 35 under the freaking Orichalcos seal. And then Gigant X is just another Orichalcos dragon, but it fits the Gadget theme. And if it's destroyed, you get a Gadget out of the graveyard to summon on your side of the field. Alright, link cards. We got the Orichalcos Berserker. This thing has a small errata on it, since we talked about this. So it has a main effect. It's a link 1, with any 1 monster can be used to make this, which was probably a mistake. It's pretty powerful for a link 1, 2,000 attack. So it has the effect where you contribute it off to special summon a Dark Gadget out of the deck, which is pretty good. If they ash this, I guess I'm boned. But it has another effect that's a quick effect, where you can banish this out of your field or graveyard to activate Seal of the errata on this originally activated just Deuteros out of the deck, ignoring its conditions. We put an errata that it activates Seal first, and then immediately puts Deuteros on top of it. Because even though I like having the 3 spell speed 4 negates, there's another mechanic in the deck that requires the Seal of Orichalcos, and we wanted to kind of balance it out. It's another extra deck mechanic that we kind of wanted to balance out by putting less seals in the deck, because it also requires discarding a seal out of the hand. So Berserker now overlays seal and then Deuteros right on top of it immediately. So that's the Berserker. I also apologize in advance. This is going to be a long video because there's a lot to go over. Dark Platinum Gadget. Pretty self-explanatory. It summons... It has the same condition as regular Platinum Gadget, but it lets me special summon any 1 monster from my hand to the zone he points to. That's just so it can work with the Steel series, basically. Okay, this next card, I'm not really going to tell you the effects, because this is a design by Uncle40. I really like this card. If you want its effects, you're going to have to figure it out in a dual video, because I'm not going to reveal them straight to you. Because this was one of his designs, and I don't think he's used it yet. But I really like this card, and I kind of wanted to show it off. It's Orichalcos Ace Kagatea. So it's Sky Striker Kagari and Orchist Galatea as an Orichalcos card. It's a Link 2. It's pretty good, that's all I can tell you. And the last card in the extra deck is actually a new extra deck mechanic that MCool40 designed once again. I'm not going to go into too many details, but it requires having the Seal of Orichalcos in your hand. And it basically gives the spell speed negation effect of the Orichalcos as a body, in addition to some other effects. But basically, the theme of this is Orichalcos Incarnate, Nick Kitsune Baron. This is my cousin. I wanted my souls that are a cut above, that I felt were like a cut above being the Mirror Knights, to be incorporated into this new mechanic. So, every Orichalcos Incarnate requires a certain number of souls that we have to have captured in order to even play them in the first place. Then you discard the seal out of hand and have to pay another substantial cost in order to play the card out of your extra deck. And then that's really all I can say. I got my cousin Nick here, Kitsune Baron. He's the first one of my version of this series. So that'll be pretty cool. He's basically Orichalcos Machina Fortress is what we decided on. So that's the extra deck. Onto the side deck, we play generic stuff. We play double MST. Don't ask about Twin Twisters. I have Twin Twisters, but they're in my other legit decks. So it's Twin Twisters. We got double Dark Hole. Hey, I like blowing up Kitora. Hey, Raigeki, I like blowing up my opponent's stuff too. So yeah. Orichalcos I, gone, but not totally gone. I feel like this card is side deck worthy as like a difficulty increase. But in the main deck starting out the gates, I feel it's a little busted. So we put this in the side deck. Pay 1,000 once per turn, pay 1,000, search for an Orichalcos card out of your deck. We don't play multiples because it can search itself. It's way too broken that in multiples. Okay. So when I'm basically going up against like hand trap heavy decks, where I just get like blown out by hand traps game one, this is where the Pillager comes in. The Pillager lets me look at my opponent's hand and take one card from it and add it to my hand. That's my Ash Blossom now. Kind of cheeky, I know, but kind of needed. More Sealed Series stuff. This one summons Shadow Raichu. I finally reworked this card to a point where I'm happy with it. He's always treated as a normal monster. He has Sealed Series clauses, but he's not Orichalcos named. That's the first condition I reworked into him. He's not Orichalcos named, so he's more of a brick. He still has the Thunder Dragon Colossus effect, where my opponent can't search. But I also gave him less attack. He has 2100 original attack, so under the seal, he's gonna have the same stats as Thunder Dragon Colossus, without the destruction protection. He also does not search a sealed spell upon death either. So I think I finally reworked this card to the point where I like it, and I think it's playable without it being too insane. Oh boy, this next one, however, we have this thing. This thing summons Serpentera, and Serpentera is good. Serpentera is real good. He's a big boy, and he wrecks face when he comes out. That's why he's side deck only. Because I feel like the side deck should be kind of like a difficulty increase. Because, like, you're ramping up. Like, things are getting serious. Ooh. But yeah, we got Serpentera. If you ever watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2, this thing is an absolute beast. Then we have Eclipse. Eclipse is good. Eclipse blows out Danger Thunder. It's another hand trap. If you're playing like an all-light or all-dark deck or combination of the two, I side this in. Blows you out for a turn. And then my last card in the side deck is just another Incubator. Just for burn decks. So that is the 35-minute long Orichalcos deck profile. I know this video was super long. There's a lot to go through. And yeah, so I want to say thank you for watching this till the end, if you're meeting me here now at the end. And I'm always accepting challenges on Discord. Moved from Skype to Discord. I'll leave my Discord info in the description. Big thanks to MCole40. Shoutouts to Kuran. He's one of my friends on Discord. He helped me design some of these cards. And then he's also the creator of freaking Orichalcos Dodecatos. I'm dropping the challenge off of Dueling Book because people don't know how to make cards. It's like, oh, I'm a Link 8 that I can banish out of extra deck. Banish all your Orichalcos cards. Like, seriously? Like, what's the point of that? Okay. New rules for the challenge are any advanced format deck can take the challenge. Burn, Exodia, or otherwise. And it's really it. Like, I'll welcome some create a card decks as long as, like, you know what you're doing. So, yeah. With all that out of the way, this is Florentine Yu-Gi-Oh! We're out of here. Good night.